begins with taking risks. Whether it's raw oysters, unpasteurized cheese, or in his experience, working with organized crime associates. Good food is all about the adventure. I'm going to share with you today my last food adventure in France before coming back to the US. It started in the heat of summer, in midsummer. My ex-husband Jean-Pierre and I and Grandma Roland had to go to Toulouse, which was 2 hours away from the little country town we lived in. And so Cecile's train, our daughter Cecile, who was arriving from a summer camp, was arriving at the train station in Toulouse at 10:30. So we woke up early and we were out of the house by 7:30. 10 minutes into our trip, on a 2-lane highway, country highway, we saw on my left a dead roe deer. That's spelled R-O-E. And so I immediately made a U-turn and then parked the car. Jean-Pierre and I got out of the car and we began walking to the roe deer. And we saw 2 other cars behind me who had stopped their cars and the men were getting out. So we started walking, and then the man who was crossing the street, the first one, started walking faster. And then we started running, and he started running. And so we ran first, we touched the roe deer, and in France, there's an unwritten gentleman's code of honor that says the first person to touch the roadkill gets it. So the other men walked dejectedly back to their cars, and so for us it was Now a roe deer, for those of you who do not know what it is, it's half the size of an American deer. Most organic material in France is smaller than organic material in the United States. Maybe that's due to the fact that we don't eat GMO. I don't know. So luckily I had a car in France that was a nice sized car for France. So my ex-husband and I hauled this deer as best we could together, and we started bringing it to my car quickly, because in France people get jealous. And if you don't want them to call the police on you, then you got to do it quick. So we were going. And we realized that the roe deer was 1.5 sizes larger than my Ford Fiesta trunk. So we were there putting it in and trying to get the legs bent and pulled, and we tugged and we pushed. We did everything that we could to get it in there. And finally we were able to shut the hatchback down. And then we realized if we wanted to pick Cecile up at the train station in Toulouse, we couldn't go 10 minutes back home and come back again. We would be losing time. So we had to take Madame Deer with us to Toulouse, 2 hours away. We arrived in Toulouse, a little bit late to pick up Cecile, who was waiting for us on the platform with her chaperone. And we had promised Grandma Roland a wonderful day in Toulouse. To see people, to see a big city, buildings, shops, restaurants. So we spent the day in Toulouse. We had dinner there, and we were exhausted. We drove the 2 hours home, arrived at Grandma Roland's apartment at 11 p.m., and we thought, oh gosh, it'll be easy. All we have to do is take the deer out, put it in her apartment so that Grandpa Joseph could prepare it the next day, and that's it. However, we get there, it's summertime. People are out in the parking lot, because in France, whether you have a home or an apartment, we don't have air conditioning. So they were outside socializing in the parking lot, and we're all, oh no. We walk into the apartment, and every 10 minutes we're all we're having tea, trying to keep awake. An hour goes by at midnight. Finally, it's clear. So we go out. Again, in France, we don't keep up with the Joneses. We call the police and we make our neighbors come down to our level. Okay? So we have to be discreet about this. Yeah, Grandma Roland on the lookout. at the door of the apartment. So she has it open for us. We go out to the trunk. She shouts very discreetly, "Be quiet, people might hear you." So we go, okay. We open the trunk, it's dark outside. We feel all these fleas jumping at our face, our body. Yeah.
Blood.
And so Madame Dear is very comfortably set in the trunk now that she has rigor mortis. But taking her out now was a difficult task. So we finally ended up getting her out of the trunk, walking her into the apartment building without being seen, so we didn't have to share any of it with our 50 other neighbors, and we plopped her gently onto the living room floor so that Grandpa Joseph could prepare it the next day. So that is the end of my food adventure in France. It culminates with one of the best Bambi bourguignon stews that I have ever